Mark Lowry changed into born on June 24th, 1958 in Houston, Texas. From a younger age, she was complete of strength, humor, and a deep love for track. He grew up in a Heat Christian home together with his dad and mom, Charles and Beverly Lowry, and his siblings. His father was an illegal professional, and his mom turned into a committed homemaker and a skilled pianist who frequently filled their domestic with song. It changed into, in this nurturing environment that Mark's passion for making a song and performing first began to take shape as a baby. Mark was acknowledged for being lively and talkative. His instructors frequently needed to remind him to live targeted because he loved making his classmates chortle. He had a natural capacity to carry pleasure to others even at a younger age. But he wasn't just a class clown, he had a deep and considerate side, too. He regularly pondered spiritual questions and loved the tales of faith that his mother and father taught him. Music turned into a steady presence in Mark's formative years. His mom performed the piano at church, and Mark quickly advanced an ear for harmony and melody. He commenced singing in church at an early age, and it became clear that he had an unfirst-rate voice. His mother and father encouraged his talent, enrolling him in song classes and supporting his performances at church occasions. By the time he turned into a youngster, Mark turned into already developing into a proficient singer. Notwithstanding his talent, Mark confronted challenges growing up. He changed into recognized with hyperactivity, a situation that made it difficult for him to sit, nevertheless, or concentrate for long periods. Faculty became from time to time a war, but tune have become his outlet. Singing allowed him to channel his strength in an efficient and significant way. He discovered solace in performing, and the level became an area wherein he felt completely at domestic. Mark's first taste of expert making a song came while he joined a Christian youth group that traveled and accomplished at churches across the U.S. He cherished the revelin of visiting and sharing his religion through Muzz Tune. His short wit and humor made him a natural entertainer, and he regularly observed himself making audiences between songs. Mark Lowe's journey into song and ministry took a defining turn when he reached college. He attended Liberty University in Lynchburg, Virginia, first of all, proceeding to turn out to be a pastor. However, all through his time at Liberty, he realized that his true calling turned into in Christian tune. He started out writing songs and performing frequently, developing his craft as each a singer and a comic. Mark's big break got here inside the overdue 1980s, whilst he turned into invited to sign up for the Geither Vocal Band. His specific combo of effective vocals and comedic storytelling made him an on-the-spot fan. Preferred during this time, he wrote one of the maximum-liked Christmas songs of all time, Mary, did you understand what started as a simple poem, advanced into a timeless conventional recorded with the aid of countless artists, and loved throughout generations? Looking lower back, Mark's childhood laid the inspiration for everything he would emerge as the hyperactive boy who struggled to take a seat. Nonetheless, had grown into a dynamic performer capable of transferring audiences with each his voice and his humor. The elegant clown who loved making people snicker had found a way to apply his gift to spread joy and faith. His upbringing in a Christian home, surrounded by using song and love, formed him into the artist and storyteller he's nowadays through it all. Mark remained true to the classes he found out in his early years: faith, own family, and the power of laughter. Mark Larry had continually been recognized for his humor, his effective voice, and his unwavering faith. But one event in his existence examined all of that. During a way he by no means should have imagined. A serious car accident that almost ended his career, and extra importantly, his lifestyles. It became a wet afternoon in October 1984, and Mark changed into visiting at the motorway, heading to every other concert on the time. He was nevertheless constructing his career as a Christian singer and comedian, acting at church buildings and occasions throughout the USA. The road turned into slick from the latest storm, and visibility changed into negative as he drove. His thoughts was full of mind about the upcoming performance. Tune thoughts, and as constantly approaches to make people giggle all at once. Within the blink of a watch, the entirety changed. A car in front of him skidded, and as Mark instinctively hit the brakes, his automobile hydroplaned. The automobile spun out of managed crossing lanes at an alarming speed. The last element Mark remembered was the terrifying sight of an oncoming truck before the entirety went black while he regained consciousness. He turned into mendacity at the bloodless, moist pavement, surrounded by using flashing lighting fixtures, and The muffled voices of paramedics, the ache become overwhelming. His frame felt love. It were crushed under a weight too tremendous to bear. He may want to slightly circulate, and whilst he tried to talk, simplest, a faint whisper escaped his lips. Mark had suffered a couple of accidents, a damaged nostril, fractured ribs, and deep cuts throughout his face and frame, but the most extreme injury changed into his vocal cords. The impact had induced substantial trauma to his throat, and medical doctors warned that he may by no means sing the equal way again for a person whose voice changed into his livelihood, his ministry, and his ardor. The news became devastating as he lay inside the medical institution bed, struggling with pain and uncertainty. Mark faced one of the darkest moments of his existence. For weeks he ought to slightly talk, let alone sing. The doctors advised him recuperation could take time, but there was no guarantee that his voice would go back to its former strength. Worry gripped him. Would he ever be able to perform again? Would the dream he had pursued, on the grounds that early life slipped via his fingers throughout those painful months? Mark found consolation in his faith and the unwavering guide of his circle of relatives and pals. His mom Beverly stayed, by means of his facet, praying with him each day. His father reassured him, reminding him that God had a reason, even in struggling messages. Love poured in from enthusiasts, fellow musicians, and church groups throughout the country. He wasn't on my own in his struggle, and that made all the difference. Notwithstanding the pain, Mark refused to give up. With the assist of vocal therapists, he started the sluggish and painful method of retraining his voice. Every word felt like an uphill war, however, he was determined. He leaned into his religion extra than ever, earlier than believing that God had added him through the twist of fate for a cause months handed. And his voice progressively regained electricity, though it became by no means quite the equal. Mark determined something unexpected. His voice carried even extra intensity and emotion than earlier. Then the enjoy had changed him now, not simply bodily. However, spiritually, he had walked via the valley of uncertainty and pop out on the opposite aspect with a deeper know-how of grace, resilience, and the energy of perseverance. When he eventually lowered back to the degree it changed into with a renewed feel of cause, he shared his testimony, the usage of his signature humor to lighten the heavy topic, whilst reminding audiences of God's faithfulness. The coincidence had taken much from him, but it had additionally given him something priceless, a new attitude on existence, faith, and the importance of by no means taking a unmarried second as a right-searching, returned Mark, often jokes about the accident, pronouncing that it gave him a crooked smile and loads of latest cloth for his comedy, but deep down, he knows it turned into one of the most defining moments of his existence. It was a trial that could have ended his profession, however, alternatively fashioned him into the artist, speaker, and guy of faith he's these days. Via all of it, Mark hung on to the perception that even within the worst of circumstances, God had a plan, and ultimately that perception carried him through. Thank you so much for looking. I virtually recognize your assist. In case you enjoyed this video, make certain to leave a like and remark below. I'd like to hear what you suspect. See you inside the next video.